15 shots, 15 kills, not a single miss. In 47 minutes, one woman shattered decades of military dogma, rewrote the rules of elite combat, and proved that courage doesn't have a gender. That moment, when Staff Sergeant Laura Foster squeezed the trigger of her .50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle from the range tower at Fort Bragg, wasn't just a display of unmatched precision. It was a revolution. A single solitary figure standing against 15 heavily armed insurgents who had infiltrated America's most sacred special operations training ground. And when every qualified sniper was deployed, wounded or pinned down, they called the one person the Navy had rejected 3 times. They had told her no, not because she lacked skill, not because she failed, but because she was a woman. Female candidates do not meet the physical requirements for SEAL operations. That cold, impersonal line had been stamped across all 3 of Laura Foster's applications to the Naval Special Warfare Command. A form letter, a bureaucratic wall, a ceiling built not on performance but on prejudice. But on that day, when the sirens screamed, when gunfire echoed through the halls of the training complex, and when the lives of American soldiers and visiting NATO officials hung in the balance, there was no time for policy, no room for bias. Only one question mattered: who can make the shot? And the answer was Laura Foster. The attack on Fort Bragg was no random act of violence. It was a meticulously planned assault, months in the making. Insurgents, disguised as civilian contractors, slipped through security with concealed weapons, detailed blueprints, and a clear objective: cripple the heart of U.S. Special Operations. They struck during a joint training exercise when over 300 elite soldiers from across the branches and high-ranking international military observers were gathered in one place. The goal? Send a message. Break American morale. Prove that even the most secure fortress could fall. And for the first 20 minutes, it worked. 12 soldiers dead, 18 wounded, chaos spreading like fire. The enemy moved with military precision, hunting down personnel, cutting off escape routes, and advancing toward the command bunker, where the fate of global operations was being discussed. It was in the middle of this nightmare that Sergeant Major Thompson grabbed a radio and barked an order that would change history. "Foster, we need you on the rifle range in 5 minutes. Bring your rifle. We've got hostiles everywhere, and you're the only one left who can stop them." Laura didn't hesitate. She'd been conducting routine marksmanship training with Army Rangers when the alarms sounded. The moment she heard automatic gunfire from the administrative complex, her training took over. She secured her trainees, moved toward the threat, and reported to the range tower, the sniper command center with a panoramic view of the entire base. When she arrived, Colonel Davis and Sergeant Major Thompson were already analyzing live drone feeds and tactical maps. Red dots blinked across the screen. 15 confirmed hostiles, armed with high-powered rifles, moving in coordinated teams. They had the advantage of position, surprise, and firepower, and the U.S. forces were trapped. "Foster," Thompson said, handing her a Barrett M82A1. "We need 15 shots, 15 targets, ranges from 600 to 1,400 meters, winds picking up, lights fading. You've got about 90 seconds per shot before they breach the command bunker. Can you do it?" Laura didn't flinch. She looked at the rifle, the 50 cal beast capable of punching through walls and engines. She checked the optics, the bipod, the match-grade ammo. Then she asked for real-time weather data, target positions, and confirmation that all friendly forces were clear. She wasn't asking for permission. She was preparing for war. Her file told a story of excellence the military had refused to acknowledge. 3 combat deployments, perfect scores on physical fitness tests, expert marksman on every weapon in the Army's arsenal. She had outshot, outrun, and outperformed countless male soldiers. But none of it mattered to the Naval Special Warfare Selection Board. "We're not being discriminatory," Commander Patricia Hayes had told her during her final interview. We're being realistic about human biology. Realistic? Laura had spent her entire career proving that realism wasn't about gender. It was about grit, training, and willpower. And now, standing on that tower with the fate of hundreds in her hands, she was about to deliver the most realistic demonstration of capability the military had ever seen. She took her position, adjusted the bipod, calibrated the scope. The first target, an insurgent on the roof of the admin building, 847 meters away, with a clear line of fire on the bunker's main entrance. Wind speed 10 mph from the left, slight elevation, bullet drop calculation 8 inches. She exhaled halfway, held her breath and focused. The crosshairs settled on the center mass. She pulled the trigger. The .50 caliber round roared down range, traveling over 800 meters in just over a second. The insurgent dropped, dead before he knew he was targeted. Target 1 neutralized, Laura reported calmly. And then she moved to the next. Target 2, 1,127 meters. A sniper in a second-floor window overlooking the medevac zone, partially concealed. A 3-second exposure window. She waited, calculated lead, fired, hit. 2 down, 13 to go. The insurgents began to realize they were being hunted by a sniper of unimaginable skill. They scrambled for cover, shifted positions, tried to outmaneuver the invisible threat. But Laura was already 10 steps ahead. Target 3, 1,230 meters. A moving target crosswind at 12 mutton up. She led the shot perfectly. Crack, 1 shot, 1 kill. Target 4, 956 meters. Hidden behind debris. She waited for the exact moment he shifted. Fired. Neutralized. Target 5, 1,387 meters, near the absolute maximum range of the Barrett. Light fading, wind shifting. Most snipers wouldn't even attempt it. She did, and she hit. By the 8th kill, Colonel Davis was on the radio, voice thick with disbelief. "Foster, you're doing impossible work out there." Udim, but the hardest shots were still coming. Target 9, 1,089 meters. A basement window with a 12-inch gap, a near impossible angle. She calculated the bullet drop, the downward trajectory, the precise moment of exposure. Fired. Perfect. 9 down. The remaining 6 had grouped together, using overlapping fields of fire, minimizing exposure. Laura knew she had to eliminate them fast, before they regrouped or escaped. She switched to rapid engagement mode, adjusted for wind shifts in real time, anticipated movement patterns, fired with surgical precision. 10, 11, 12. Each shot a masterpiece of physics, patience, and nerve. The final 3 were fleeing, running across open ground toward the eastern perimeter. Laura had to lead moving targets at over 1,000 meters. Target 13, 1,145 meters, moving at 8 mum. She calculated the lead, aimed ahead, and fired. Direct hit. Target 14, 1,287 meters, using cover. She waited. 1 second, 2, 3, crack, gone. And then, target 15, 1,356 meters. Deteriorating light. A moving target. This wasn't just a shot, this was history. She breathed in, exhaled halfway, held. Her heart slowed. Her vision narrowed. The world became the crosshairs. She calculated wind, angle, speed, distance, atmospheric pressure. And then she squeezed. The bullet flew for 4 seconds and found its mark. "All targets neutralized," Laura said, her voice steady. "Threat eliminated." Silence, then cheers. Radios crackling with relief. Soldiers who had been pinned down now rising, moving, securing the base. Laura had done what no one, no sniper, no team, no unit, had ever done under such conditions. 15 shots, 15 hits, ranges from 847 to 1,356 meters, 0 misses, 0 collateral damage, mission accomplished. The data was recorded, the footage analyzed. The performance reviewed by generals, snipers, and ballistics experts. What they saw defied belief. It wasn't just good shooting, it was perfection under pressure. A masterclass in precision warfare. 3 hours later, Laura stood in a secure briefing room. A video link connected her to the Pentagon. On the screen, Admiral Richardson, commander of Naval Special Warfare Command. "Staff Sergeant Foster," he said, his voice heavy with respect. "I've reviewed your engagement data. What you did today, it exceeds the capabilities of most SEAL-qualified snipers. You did the impossible." A pause. "And I'm personally inviting you to report to Naval Special Warfare Command for immediate evaluation for SEAL training." Laura didn't smile, didn't cheer. She simply said, "Sir, I accept." 6 months. Later, Staff Sergeant Laura Foster stood on the graduation stage at Naval Special Warfare Center, Coronado, California. She wore the Navy SEAL trident, a symbol she had been told she would never earn. She didn't just complete the training, she graduated first in her class. Her 15 shots at Fort Bragg didn't just save lives. They shattered a system built on assumptions. They forced the military to re-evaluate everything, from fitness standards to selection criteria. Physical tests were redesigned to measure functional capability, not arbitrary benchmarks. Training programs shifted to focus on performance, not demographics. Because Laura Foster proved one undeniable truth: excellence has no gender. Her story became legend, taught in academies, studied by snipers, remembered by every soldier who ever heard the phrase, "You don't qualify." She didn't break the glass ceiling. She vaporized it with a .50 caliber round, and from that day forward, no one could ever say again that a woman couldn't be a SEAL, because one woman already had. And she didn't just earn the trident, she redefined what it meant to wear it. 15 shots, 15 kills.